Welcome to Asian Anifacts, the channel about Chinese, Korean and Taiwanese actors and actresses. Today I will show you the lists of dramas of Lee Young-hye, which includes her first leading role in fashion drama titled Love and Marriage. Her first drama involves cooking in the Joseon dynasty titled Chanpoomdanja, and the family drama involving fast cars titled Asphalt Man. But before I continue, please don't forget to subscribe, like and comment on who do you want me to feature next. Love and Marriage. 1995. Cast: Lee Young-hye, Kim Hee-lee, Kim Hye-soo, Im Sung-min, Sun Chong-min, Choi Ran. She played Eun-ji, a passionate single young woman working in the fashion industry, with Yoon Soo-ben, a newly hired designer with vibrant personality. Eun-ji enjoys her single life as she prefers to be alone, but in the end, she met a man and who had shown her how to overcome their antagonistic relationship and become harmonious. Chanpoomdanja. 1995. Cast: Lee Young-hye, Lee Il-hwa, Moon-hee, Lee Jae-eun, Lee In-hye, Yong-hyun. She played Park Wool-nam, a young daughter of a poor family who was sold by her family to a brothel. Park Wool-nam escaped before she reached the brothel and rode a passing palanquin carrying Lee Yong-dak, a young lady who was about to enter the palace to train to be a court lady. Park Wool-nam begs the head court lady to allow her to stay in the palace for she has nowhere else to go. The head court lady was reluctant at first, but after proving her capability, Park Wool-nam was allowed to stay and train as a court lady. Park Wool-nam and Lee Yong-dak became irreplaceable best friends who worked together and helped each other constantly. Park Wool-nam and Lee Yong-dak were both intelligent and showed the most outstanding skills while undergoing a rigorous training process and was chosen to become candidates to become a head court lady. Park Wool-nam and Lee Yong-dak compete for the position of head court lady. Park Wool-nam won and the head court lady taught Park Wool-nam everything she knows, and she handed Park Wool-nam the Chanpoomdanja, a book that records in detail the types of food and cooking methods used in the palace to prepare banquet food for occasions such as ancestral rites that has been passed down from generation to generation in the court. Lee Yong-dak ran away from the palace after losing the competition, and Park Wool-nam tried to stop her. Then Japanese imperial annexed the Joseon dynasty, invade the palace, and the head court lady died. Because of this, Park Wool-nam decided to run away also with the Chanpoomdanja book and live in the mountains for several years. Park Wool-nam saw Lee Yong-dak again when she tried to board a truck going to a safe place, to escape the Japanese army. They both failed to ride the truck and decided to hide in the warehouse of a restaurant and talk about each other's life outside the palace. But then the Japanese soldiers saw them and gathered them together with their fellow men. The Japanese soldier ordered them to slap each other face for their enjoyment, and they were forced to do it to live. Park Wool-nam and Lee Yong-dak was tasked to be the cooks for the soldiers, but after Lee Yong-dak heard that they were to be executed, she convinced Park Wool-nam to escape. At night, Park Wool-nam and Lee Yong-dak made their escape, but they were spotted by the night guard and shot. Lee Yong-dak was able to pass the wire fence before they were seen, but Park Wool-nam was unfortunately shot and caught. Years later, an old Park Wool-nam was preparing for a meal while listening to Lee Yong-dak giving speech on the television about her successful career as a chef that specializes in the Western and Japanese cuisine. However, Lee Yong-dak was not satisfied with her success and longed to have the Chanpoomdanja, that unbeknownst to her was in the hand of Park Wool-nam that she believed had died. Asphalt Man. 1995. Cast: Lee Young-hye, Lee Byung-hun, Young Woo-sung, Park In-hwan, Choi Jin-shil, Hu Jun-ho. She played Kang Dong-hee, the eldest and only girl in the Kang family. When she was an ordinary student, she was assaulted by a military in her neighborhood. As a result, she had given birth to a daughter. As her life falls into the abyss due to a momentary incident, she lives her life without direction and goes from bar to bar. When her youngest brother saw her in the bar dancing with a man, he dragged her at home. Then Kang Dong-jun, the intelligent and younger brother of Kang Dong-hee, saw them and tried to stop them from fighting, but it causes their youngest brother to be thrown at the car model of Kang Dong-jun placed at the table, that he developed for 4 years. The car model was ruined, and the commotion caused their father to wake up and was stunned to see the car model ruined and tried to fix it. Their father was very disappointed at his youngest son that he hit him hard, for the car model was to be submitted for tomorrow's competition and it was Kang Dong-jun and his father's dream. Their father was also disappointed with Kang Dong-hee, but he can't hit her. So, Kang Dong-hee decided to immigrate to the US by marrying an American for the sake of her daughter's education. She started living in the US dreaming of the American dream, but she lived a difficult life suffering from her husband's drunkenness and violence. Kang Dong-hee's youngest brother, who had run away from home and came to the US, had helped her escape her husband and brought her a house. Kang Dong-jun informs Kang Dong-hee that he has a business trip in the US and wanted to see her and her daughter. Kang Dong-hee was very excited to know that Kang Dong-jun is coming to see her, for she really miss him. However, Kang Dong-jun was given a hard time by the investors that he wants to meet, and most investors refused to meet him and only talked to him in the phone, which made him forgot about meeting Kang Dong-hee and was not able to meet her on the day that he promises that he will see her. Kang Dong-hee patiently waited for Kang Dong-jun to show up until midnight, but he didn't appear, which causes her younger brother to get mad at her for always believing on Kang Dong-jun's words. Kang Dong-hee lashes out at her youngest brother and told him that she knows that he was being paid to be beaten in the boxing ring. Hurt by Kang Dong-hee's words, her brother left with her daughter, and she got drunk alone while calling for her father and brothers. Kang Dong-hee was seen by her abusive husband and was trying to take her home, but she fought him and run on the street. Then Kang Dong-hee falls asleep on a bench on the roadside, and when she woke up, a drunk woman stole her coat and photo of her with her brothers. Kang Dong-hee tried to fight the drunk woman, then a truck hit the drunk woman and she ran away from the drunk woman. However, the drunk woman became unrecognizable and Kang Dong-hee's youngest brother recognizes her dress and photos that made an assumption that the drunk woman was Kang Dong-hee and he mourns her. On the cemetery, Kang Dong-jun came with a flower, but the youngest brother fought with him, blaming him for the death of their sister and vows that he will make him lost everything. Later, an alive Kang Dong-hee was discharged from psychiatric treatment in the US, but she wandered around due to amnesia. Kang Dong-hee was seen on the street by a man who used to be friend with her youngest brother. But after seeing Kang Dong-hee's situation, he demanded money from Kang Dong-hee's brother for Kang Dong-hee's information. Kang Dong-jun was also informed by the man about Kang Dong-hee and he uses his men to retrieve Kang Dong-hee from him. However, Kang Dong-hee doesn't recognize her brother and was in a dazed. But when saw her daughter, she regained her memory and remember all her family. Thank you for watching.